So I don't know how well you can tell, but this hill is so steep. Here's like straight ahead, and there's the trail. And it's like straight down, straight up. And I still have so long to go. Pray that I don't die. All right, we've made it to the nicest shelter on the whole trail. We got picnic tables, even a trash can, and a charging station. And then here is the shelter. You look inside, we got bunks on both sides. This is way nicer than anything else I've seen. And that is why they call it the Fontana Hilton. So there's also showers here. I'm not sure where they are, but there are actually warm showers at this shelter. So a lot of people like to stay here, but we did not. We went into town for an even nicer place, so we did not stay, but had to come check it out. I don't know how well you can see it, but Calypso is pretty excited to be crossing this bridge. She tried last year, and this is where she got taken off trail. So from here forward, this is new ground for her, and she is pumped. We found two earlier. Now, I believe there's 6. There's 2 over here. 4 here. Let's see how close we can get this time. Oh, the other ones came back. So this may be one of my favorite parts of the hike so far, because first of all, everything's covered in moss and it's super cool. But also, it just smells like straight Christmas trees through here. And every couple seconds, I get a whiff of it, and it's amazing. So I hope it never ends. So I just had my first experience of getting off trail. Walked like almost half a mile off trail. Thought it was weird that I was walking in a literal river, and that I was going downhill when I should be close to Clingmans, which is the highest point on the AT. So now I have to backtrack like almost half a mile. Yay. All right, I am officially on the highest point of the entire Appalachian Trail at Clingmans Dome. It is gorgeous up here. There's a nice tower. You can see it behind me, little run up. But this is also the 200-mile mark, which is crazy. Well, for me, it's only like 180, I guess, because I technically skipped like 20 that I'm going back to do. But shh, don't tell anyone. But yeah, I'm stoked. I was kind of worried that the road was going to be closed because I'm meeting one of my best friends from college in town this weekend. And I found out while I was up here that the road is open. So I have enjoyed this view for a little while, and it's about time to eat and then get to town. So, and I'll give y'all a big update tonight. I know I've been pretty periodic on my updates, so I'll update you of the last 4 days. It's been wild. The ultimate hiker trash. Let's go! Spring break! So the craziest thing happened to me today. It's been a long day and wasn't exactly sure where I was gonna stay tonight, and it was a mess, and I'm gonna be in a hostel tonight, but I was walking to go get food, and on my way, I was just like hiking like 2.5 miles down the road, and Leah over here, she saw me and brought out this bag to me full of oranges, bananas, and 7-Up, and talked to me for a little bit and invited me to come see the rest of her family. This is Mark, Liam, and Sam, and we just had dinner. They made pizzas for me, and it was amazing. So thank y'all so much for all of that. And yeah, this is the first thing like this that's happened to me on the trail, and yeah, it's amazing. So thank you again. All right, time for a recap of, I guess, quite a few days now before I end this episode. But the last recap I did, I remember I was sitting at that roundabout at Fontana Marina. So since then, that night we stayed at the inn. I met a bunch of other thru hikers, some that we ended up hiking with through the Smokies. I've got one group that I'm trying to stick with through the Smokies, but now I've taken a little bit more 0 days than I had planned, so I'm gonna end up being pretty far behind them, but I'm gonna do my best to catch up because I really do enjoy hiking with them. But yeah, so after that we got into the Smokies, and the Smokies are gorgeous. There's a lot of areas in there that are just really cool. There's a little bit more wildlife than everywhere else. Finally saw some deer or something other than a squirrel and a chipmunk. But so that was fun. But some crazy stuff happened between like Thursday and Saturday. Thursday there was a major storm in the Smokies, which they are notorious for. We knew it was coming, and when we got up it was just starting to rain. And by the time I had walked like 2 miles or so, it was pouring down rain. The wind gusts had to have been over 50 miles an hour. And there was lightning everywhere, and I was walking ridge lines, and the trees up there are like 4 feet tall. So I was like the tallest thing on the mountain, which is terrifying. feel like I'm gonna get blown off the mountain and as I'm falling get struck by lightning. So that's awesome. But so ended up hiking 6 miles, made it to a shelter, was planning on 12, but decided to stop there. Was gonna stop for the night along with everyone else in my tramway that I've been traveling with. And a whole bunch more people showed up and it was packed. And we ended up, after a few hours, deciding to hike on another 6 miles. And we made it to the next shelter. And it was pretty nice. There was already a fire there from a guy who was already staying there. We couldn't really breathe that well because the wind kept pushing the smoke down the chimney and into our area. So I ended up sneakily putting out the fire during the night. Shh, don't tell anyone. But that was pretty funny. He was not very happy that his fire had gone out in the morning, but I wanted to breathe and so did everyone else, so I did that. Ended up having a great day of hiking that day. A little bit of a slow start in the morning, but then it was probably the most beautiful hiking I've done yet. Everything was green, covered in moss, and it was Christmas trees everywhere. I mentioned that in a video before. And then Clingmans Dome was amazing. But then when we got to Newfound Gap parking lot, we were all just sitting down on the grass, and within a couple minutes of our group being there, a lady came up to us. Her trail name was Eagle Eye. Big thank you to her. But she came up to us and said, "Are y'all thru hikers? Can I do anything for you? Can I drive you anywhere?" We were like, "Yeah, we're trying to get to Gatlinburg, so if you could, that'd be great." She said, "Yeah, I've got a Tundra if y'all want to pile in the back." So that was that video you saw. The 6 of us piled into this Tundra, and it was packed. It was so fun though. We drove down the mountain, had a great time. But then she dropped us off at the grocery store to resupply. We did that, and then we were waiting for the trolley, and somebody else came up and said, "Hey, are y'all thru hikers? Can I do anything for you? Can I drive you anywhere?" He could only take 2 of us, so he took me and Calypso to the hotel that they were staying at. I was staying at a different hostel with my friend who came in town for the weekend, Dinger. He drove all the way up from Jacksonville, Florida, which was awesome. He's like one of my best friends from college. It's great to spend the weekend with him, but so he drove us to that hotel. I was gonna stay there and hang out, but it was already getting late. It was like 7:20, so I had to leave, and I didn't really have plans. My hostel was like 17 miles away, so I couldn't just walk. But I decided I would walk to McDonald's for dinner and then try and get an Uber from there. I was having trouble downloading Uber on my phone because my service is crap. Don't get Pure Talk, especially not on the trail. But I made it almost all the way there. I got back to that grocery store, still had about another half a mile, but as I was trying to cross like the exit where the cars come out of the grocery store, there was a lady standing across the way holding a little plastic bag. I said, like, "Hey, how you doing? How's it going?" She was like, "Hey, I saw you walking and I figured you were a thru hiker, and I got you this bag of goodies. There's some clementines in here, a cold 7-Up, and a banana. You can have whatever you want." I was like, "Thank you so much." So I was reaching in, grabbing stuff. She was like, "You can take the whole bag if you want. I just didn't know how much you wanted to carry." I was so grateful for it, and we got to talking. She asked where I was going. I told her McDonald's, and then try and get an Uber to my hostel before it was too late to check in, which turns out it would have been fine. But yeah, so she said, "We're actually making homemade pizza, me, my husband, and 2 of my sons. If you would like to join us, you're welcome." And I was all for it. I hopped in the car with her. She said, "My husband's gonna kill me. I've never done anything like this." But they were so great. I'm so grateful for them. I showed you that video earlier, and oh my gosh, I called him Mark, and his name is Matt. So sorry, Matt. But thank y'all so much again for that. And I totally forgot to get a picture on my phone with y'all, so if you would please reach out to me in the comments if you see this. and I'll figure out how to get in touch with y'all. But it was amazing. We hung out for like 2.5 hours. They were such a sweet family. I was so grateful for them. They ended up taking me to my hostel. And yeah, that was so great, so unexpected and so kind. But I got to the hostel and it was in the middle of nowhere, and it was a little sketchy. I walked in and it was not quite what I was expecting, but just kind of said hi to everyone, went to my room, just kind of wanted to stick to myself. Dinger showed up later, and then the next day we hung out. We went go-karting. It was so fun, and there was a big storm, so we couldn't do so much. But then we came back and hung out, and decided we would kind of meet some of the other people at the hostel, even though it was sketchy. But I learned some big lessons here, because got to talking to some of them, and they were actually like some really cool people. I hung out with a guy who goes by Jug, and then Tanya, who runs the place, and then a few other people. And we ended up talking, me, Dinger, Jug, Tanya, and then some other people kind of came and went, but we talked about God like all night, just all sorts of stuff until like 3:15. I ended up getting 3 hours of sleep and then driving to Asheville to come see Kelly. That's where I'm at right now, and I'll get back on the trail in the morning. But it's been great to see Kelly and Sarah as well, and big thank you to them too for letting me stay here and then taking me to the trail tomorrow. But yeah, that's about it. It was a super crazy weekend. I learned from that hostel experience to never ever judge someone before you get to know them. It was just, I was blown away at like what I thought it was going to be like when I first showed up, and then what it ended up being like. I really genuinely want to go back and visit. Like, it was that amazing. So yes, learning lessons every day out here, and that was just such a great experience. And yeah, so I can't wait to get back out on the trail tomorrow, and my family will be picking me up on Thursday, and I can't wait. So yeah, I'm excited, and hopefully I can post this video real soon, and I'll catch y'all on the next episode.